course.
Okay, it's working. Okay. We're live. Hello, everybody. The plugin works. Geek's just not talking.
Oh, was I supposed to say something? Hello, everyone.
Yeah. See? The plugin worked. See?
but can the plugin also make them hear Erland?
Maybe. There's another plugin that I want to install at some point. That shows who's actively talking. I may actually have it on this other thing. No, I uninstalled it at one point. But that'll be a plugin whenever I find time to mess with that. But anyways, how's it going? The news lately has been a lot. I don't know, Gick. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of news.
Yeah, this week has been pretty crazy. Also, in terms of developments like potentially new weapons which were used and the like.
Yeah.
I think this week was crazy.
Yeah, we had the GLSDBs. Those are fun. We had one video today that I don't even know what this weapon is, to be honest. This strike on this facility. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. Whatever this is, there's a strike. It kind of looks like bombs, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm really not sure. It's definitely not a Gimler.
And no Chadem either. Or would you say that could be Chadem? Because that looks way too small for Chadem.
I don't know. When you watch the video, in... Should I just download the video again? I actually literally just deleted it. I'll just download it again. But when you watch the video, you can see the projectile very... Oh god. You can see the projectile very clearly come in. And it's very, very small. Very small projectile. Here, I'm going to try to get a still of it off screen. But yeah, it's definitely not a Gimler. It's very small, and it's black.
And the channel or the unit says it was aviation.
Yeah.
So I was also very curious about that, but I think we never got a response from
because
one of the experts.
When we were investigating this, another thing happened.
Another thing.
Would you like to talk about the other thing?
Well, show the still first, or are you not ready?
I'm trying to find the still. Oh, there it is. It's just the bomb or whatever. Well, the projectile is so tiny. It's like a pixel. Let's show it. It's this, right here. It's very, very small. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not a Gimler, because a Gimler would be like a long rod. I don't know what it is. It seems like some sort of bomb. It's not terribly accurate. Like, it's not pinpointing things. The first one does hit this ruined building. But the other three appear to just kind of randomly hit this area. One lands right here. One lands on like this reverse slope over here, and one lands like in between these two ruined buildings over there. So it's not like, it doesn't seem precision guided. It just seems like bombs. Like just unguided bombs. Does Ukraine have just unguided glide bombs?
I don't know. What airframes would carry them? That's a question, I guess.
Or maybe they're a rocket. Okay. Do you know those giant rockets that like the Soviets have? They're like I can't remember what they're called. They're really big though. They're like, I don't know, 16 centimeters across, and they fire them. They're unguided, just giant rockets. Maybe that's what these are. Maybe these are just giant unguided rockets, like with like a, I don't know, like a 90 kilogram warhead or whatever those rockets have. I don't know.
It might be the trajectory seems a bit off for that, but because I think they come in at a flatter angle, but I might be wrong. I'm no expert in this.
Yeah, this bomb here, you can see it kind of. So it's right there. It's like a pixel. I don't know if people can see it, but it's right there, and you can watch it come in, and it blows up there. So I think it's coming in pretty steep, but it's hard to tell because of all the angles.
Isn't it just artillery?
No, way too big for artillery. Way too big.
And they said it's aviation.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the only artillery this could be is a peon. This is a really big explosion. Like the craters are like I don't know, like 7 or 8 meters across craters. I feel like it's like a maybe it's a peon.
But you said that it's not precise. Did it hit like many times in that same video?
Yeah, it hit all in this area. So I don't know how big this area is, but it doesn't like hit a specific thing. So it's like 90 meters across. So it's reasonably precise, but it's not like
unless they wanted
something.
to flatten that area. I don't know.
Like when we see like JDAMs and things like that, they always seem to like directly hit like the middle of a building or something like that. And these are just kind of like randomly landing in like a circle right here. Anyways, that was interesting. That was an interesting video because I couldn't explain it, and that's interesting to me. But then something else happened, didn't there?
Yeah, something else happened. Something, a very big thing fell off the sky.
Yeah, we have the general location. It's over here.
It's actually not just the general location.
The exact location.
It's triangulated by those houses, which you can see in 2 of the videos. I didn't do it, to be honest. Like I saw the first one, and it was basically drawing 2 houses as a proof. And I figured, yeah, okay, that's a stretch. But then someone triangulated it, and that leads us there. But we also seem to know by now that it did not land in one piece. Instead,
no.
There seemed to be 2 different places where parts of the plane landed.
Yeah, you could see. I took this still intentionally because you could see at least 3 pieces of airplane.
Yeah.
As the video goes, all these pieces spread out and become more on fire.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that in the video we can see that one explosion happens something like, I don't know, what is it, 300 meters next to the plane, which could be one of the missiles targeting the planes actually eating one of the flares and exploding there. It could, of course, be anything else as well. It could be, Russian air defense trying to shoot down the other air defense missile, which was targeting the plane. I don't know. I don't think that's very likely. But anyway, we see an explosion a few hundred meters off the plane, and the next thing we see is a second explosion in the plane. What we also see from the ground footage, and we already have seen the wreckage, is that there's high fragmentation patterns on the rear of the plane. So that excludes a bunch of missiles already. So definitely no PAC-3 or something like that, which would be hit to kill intercepting that one. Also from the, to be fair, I'm not an expert in this, but I talked to someone who knows this stuff, and now I'm basically selling his knowledge as mine, which feels a bit weird, but I'm still going to do that. The other thing is that when I was asking about any potential meteor or air-to-air missiles, which Ukraine could potentially be using right now. He told me that the fragmentation pattern looks like the warhead is way bigger than what you have on a Meteor. So that would leave us back with some, S-300, S-400, or PAC-2 interceptors. The PAC-2 would technically be excluded just from the range perspective. If we draw a circle there, we would be at something like 205 kilometers to the front line, to the current front line. And I think the PAC-2 official range given is something around 160. Of course, typically, Western weapons understate their capabilities, so you can potentially add something to that. But if you, and some of you are surely following John Rich, he did post a KV, and he's saying that there's another targeting method, and I'm not sure if I'm paraphrasing that correctly, but there's another targeting method where you do not home in, or where you do not need the final stage or terminal stage radar illumination, and instead home on jamming, I think it's what it's called, and that would technically extend the range. So with that capability, you could potentially achieve that range with a PAC-2 missile.
Yep. Yeah. So, man, I honestly haven't been able to look at Telegram for the past hour and a half because I've been trying to map all the things all that we had that you geolocated basically. I was mapping them all. So I haven't really read much. So you said that they found the wreckage on the ground?
Yeah.
Or they posted. Well, yeah, I mean posted the wreckage. I mean, obviously
you can actually show it. It's in Discord already. I don't know if you want to look it up in the meantime. Then you could show it, and there's, I think the second video shows.
Is that
yeah, that's a picture of it. You can get a bit higher quality if you watch the video actually. So that screenshot isn't all too good, but that's the fragmentation pattern. Yeah. So that's definitely the shrapnel. I hope that's not the supernova version, but if it is, it doesn't matter.
Oh god, I'm turning it off.
It is. Yeah, like a bit later, I posted a video on higher quality from Millinfo Live. That Millinfo. And while we're watching this, someone was saying that Trent Telenko also had a brilliant idea, and he's saying that it might have been, what was it, UAVs with SAMs attached to it?
With a SAM. It's just an FPV drone with an S-300 taped to it, right?
Kind of like that. I mean, while the idea sounds very great, I would not say that's very likely. Be very diplomatic here.
I have so many videos open right now. I'm so confused. I just want to close them all. I'll be right back. Oh. Okay, they're all closed now. But no, the question to me was, did I see Trent Telenko? I did not, but I can see him saying that. Yeah. Anyway, I do think that drones will eventually shoot down a plane, or not necessarily a plane, but probably a helicopter. Shooting down a plane is really hard with a drone. But a helicopter, I think you can pull it off because they're slower, especially Soviet helicopters where they have to hover to shoot. I think you can shoot down a hovering helicopter, especially with a jet engine, because those jet drones can go like 600 to 700 miles an hour. And that is fast. That is really fast. So if you like those jet drones that I've seen, they have a flight time of about 12 minutes. And the main limit is the battery. Because you can't pack too much battery in, or it kills the performance. So you want to have the least battery possible, especially if you're putting a warhead in there. So you want to maximize the warhead and minimize the battery and fuel. So you're going to have like maybe 12 minutes of flight time total, maybe even less, maybe even like 8 minutes. But with 12 minutes of flight time, you can cover really far when you're going 700 miles an hour.
Yeah. I mean, in this instance, like if you followed the Russian Telegram channels, you will now see that every Russian Telegram channel is very eager to say that it was definitely not a Ukrainian missile. So one thing that is obvious is that the Russians are definitely trying to take this capability away from Ukraine and rather get embarrassed again by saying they shot down their own plane. And remember, this is the second A-50U which they shot down. That's a very valuable plane.
I wonder how many they have left. Because I know they had a bunch in storage, but I don't think any of them are upgraded. And I can't remember how many they had in active service, but I think it was like 9 or something.
So the thing is that the ones in active service are the upgraded versions, the A50Us. And from the sources that I found, they got in 2017 delivered a fourth one of the upgraded ones, but since then they've gotten an unknown number. And Rocket Man, he says, John, he says that they got 8 to 11 total, or 9 to 11 total before the war.
And then a few more on top of that.
Well, those are the unupgraded ones, okay. And I don't think they use them.
Anyways, they had 1 get damaged and 2 shot down, so they're doing great.
Yeah, it almost appears like a power struggle inside Russia, and I posted a joke video about that. It feels like the VKS was still at war with, I don't know, Wagner or the Kremlin or something like that. Because how do you do that?
Yeah, losing the crew is devastating because that crew is they are specialized. There's a very specialized crew.
Yeah,
I mean, how many spare crew do you have? Like, honestly, like.
And there was this racist comment by one of the Russian channels, and it's an average Russian channel, just to make that clear. And he said that you can't get this crew from Central Asia because they are experts in so basically he's saying that Asians wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I don't think that's what he was saying. He was saying that you can't like conscript an A-50 crew.
I'm not sure if he was saying that. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. I feel like that was very racist and basically talking about, and to be honest, the average Moscow man thinks very lowly of anything that's east of Moscow.
Or west or south or north.
Yeah, that's also. But the east is diverse. The more Asian people get, the lower value they hold in the average Moscow inhabitant.
The ghost of Prigozhin shot down the plane.
It was revenge.
Yeah, dude, I wonder at what point, like, how many A-50s have to get shot down before the crew start carrying around parachutes?
I'm not sure if they would help.
Well, you can at least jump out,
If but honestly, at one point, at what point will they just refuse to fly? And to be also clear, I think where this plane is pretty much the furthest it can be away from southern Ukraine to still be capable of doing its work. I don't think it can fly any further away and still spy on what it's to spy on.
Yeah, I don't think it can even work over here. I think it has to go over here to work. So maybe I think it was like maybe it was taking off or landing, like I think it has to work in this area. Like it like they fly back and forth like this down the coast, and then they like go back up, and they just do that for like hours and hours and hours. So if it's over here, I think either it did its mission and it was landing, or it was taking off to go do its mission. I don't think it can work over here.
Well, according to the Ukrainian, I think the Air Force, either the Air Force or the SBU posted it. They released a map of the pattern of or the flight pattern of the plane, and it was definitely in a operational pattern above that area. So
what was it? Going like this?
No, it's solely over land, I think. Let me see if I can find it quickly without boring anyone with waiting time.
But that's still quite far behind where they were flying when they got shot down last time, right?
Yeah, last time they're flying over here. Yeah, and I've seen like a lot of the like flight tracker stuff of their patterns, and they're all here.
Yeah, but they lost an A50 there recently, right? That's why they changed.
So going this way.
Yeah. So this is the official, basically, pattern that the SBU or Ukraine released.
Yeah, and I'm assuming this image is from Delta. I assume.
Why does it say Republic of Crimea?
I don't know. I think they use the same map that we do, to be honest. How many aircrew do you think you have? Like if you have, I don't know, like 10 planes, how many crew do you think you would have for 10 planes?
So each has I think it's operational from 13 or something like that onwards, and has max 18 or something.
I mean, like, how many crews? Like, would you have 2 crews per plane, or 3, or 10?
No. I think the limiting, like, the human in Russia seems to hold a lower value than the plane, so I think they would have more planes than crew.
If that's true, then that's really bad. That could mean like 2/3 of their crew are gone.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's pure speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised if only few of those planes are operational, and for that they don't need that many crew.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long it takes them to replace this plane. Last time it took like a week or something, right?
Yeah, and 2 weeks to lose it again, I think. So.
So
I mean, should be predicted.
I mean,
because not a lot of people.
Okay, so there's this phrase that I know. It's like 2 times is a coincidence and 3 times is a pattern.
So we need a third one.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy. Let's have a third one just to prove a point.
Yeah. So there was a large attack near Bilohorivka. There were two vehicles you identified that I don't understand in the video. I think I'm just confused watching the video. The video is confusing. I also only had 5 minutes to watch the video. So but so this attack, they've been attacking here for quite a while, and it doesn't seem to be going well. They've lost a lot of vehicles. I'm gonna go back in time a little bit, because I think like last weekend we posted a whole bunch of losses. Oh boy. Yeah. So this was one set of losses, right? There's the BMPs, an MTLB, a tank. Although I think even more if you go back another day, you see them even more clearly. There was a tank back here that I couldn't identify. I think it's a T-80, but I'm not sure. And then there's this other tank here.
That's not a tank.
What's that?
That's not a tank.
Oh well, there's a tank here. There's
That happened.
a tank somewhere. It's over here somewhere. It's like, isn't it like there? Whatever. Anyway, so there's like a tank there. I think there's a tank like here. There's like one there. There's like the 5 vehicles here, another vehicle there, another vehicle over here, and then as we go on in time, we get even more vehicles over here. I mean, the total losses in this area has to be like over 20 vehicles, right? Wouldn't you say? Maybe 30?
Oh, even more, because if you zoom out, don't forget that their initial attack, they got bogged down in their own forest to the north west.
Yeah.
So they lost far more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. These vehicles up here too, right? So man, so this attack is the thumbnail today. You made the thumbnail, more or less.
I made the thumbnail, yeah, because I keep wondering. I keep wondering how long until they will notice what they, where they're going. Because there is something very, very specific to this terrain there. I don't know if you have Earth Open or any 3D service, but
I do.
It's very special to this area, and that's one of the areas where an open field attack does not appear to be the best choice.
I'm opening Earth. I forgot it crashed right before I started streaming. But yeah, this is my favorite of these BMPs is the one that just drove into a hole.
Yeah.
It just straight up drove into a hole and just got stuck. That one was funny. But here we go. Let's go to Google Earth. Hey, it worked. So yeah, there are these hills, right? There's all sorts of high ground. We know that Ukraine has bunkers all through this hill here, and Russia is constantly attacking those bunkers with FPV drones, and they post tons of videos of that. We know that they have bunkers on this hill here. For the same reason, they are constantly attacked by FPV drones. So there's bunkers here, and we imagine they probably have bunkers on that hill too. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you? And they also have, they control all of these houses and this hill. So there are so many different ways, so many angles to shoot from,
Yeah. Like pretty much every position there has the possibility to see that slope. And it's an open field, there's not much hiding. And I think why the Russians keep doing that is because if you go onto their side, they have their own slope going up. And I think they get new people and they get them at the bottom there and tell them, it's not that, look, they can't see you. It's easy. They can't see you. Just go. And then they go and then they arrive at the top of their side of the slope. And that's when they get smashed.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as you get over this, you're in trouble. As soon as you get here, man. I mean, I do want to say that Russia has used these slopes to their advantage as well. When Ukraine was attacking to the east, Russia was also using these slopes to hide their tanks so that they could do things like shoot this supply road into Bilohorivka in this supply road. So Russia has done the same. It's a two-way thing. This isn't just Ukraine is on one hill and Russia's on the other, and they cancel each other out, and that's why the front line hasn't moved. It's just neither side can attack. That's why it's so stable.
Yeah, but they still do it.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanna know what the kill to losses ratio is on vehicles for 81st, because I think they're just farming there.
Ukraine has certainly lost vehicles here. Not nearly as many, but they do lose vehicles too. And they've lost a lot of like MRAPs, like what are they called? Kozak M's, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
They lose a lot of those sorts of things in this area. They've lost tanks before. They've lost BMPs. They lost M113s. So they do. Ukraine does lose vehicles here, and Ukraine does attack. Like they do offensives all the time. We just don't really hear about them because we know that Ukraine was holding this this ridge here, and you can see why this ridge was important because of all the terrain features. So controlling this top of this side of the hill here was preventing Russia from pushing down, because you could use all of these hills to guard the top of that hill while your infantry was down on this ridge, and it was a pretty stable position until Russia just bum rushed it. They just kept attacking it with tons of infantry, and they did it by moving down this tree line here and took that. So,
yeah. But by the way, did you see the trench system which the Russians built, which is also exposed by the video? No, further back, where they start running. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
North there. Yeah.
It's like here, I think.
No, it's directly at the tree line, but the trench system is absolutely massive.
Let's look.
You can see it in the video. I think it's at, I don't remember, halfway through.
Yeah, it's when they zoom. Oh, no, it's right at the beginning. So there's this trench system, right?
I don't see anything yet.
Oh, I forgot. I'm just showing Google Earth. Here we go.
Yeah, and you can see it better later in the video.
We'll go later in the video.
Well, I mean, you can show that. I don't think people die in that video. It's just vehicles, right? Empty vehicle. By the way, since it was asked in chat who's still commanding those or ordering those assaults, I do not know who's really ordering those assaults, but what we do know is that it should mostly be an LPR unit, so one of the pseudo republics there, the Luhansk stuff, which is still assaulting there. And I do personally believe that someone higher up, which is actually Russian, considers them to be of less value as well, since they are probably still some sort of Ukrainian to them. So they kind of sent them into those suicide missions. Otherwise, I can't explain this. They want to have it, so and LPR units are probably less value to them, so they sent them there no matter what. At some point, the masses might succeed.
Yeah, maybe. Well, these guys, they have had some pretty good vehicles. I think they had like what, 2 or 3 T90Ms. They had a few T80 BVMs. They've had modernized BMP2s. So they have had good vehicles. It's just
that's because the real units, the real Russian elite units, they are now switching over to T54B and T55 and so on.
That's what real men fight with, is a T54.
Exactly. T80 BVs for losers.
Yeah, the good tanks that they lost were all over here though, in the north.
Yeah, and that angle I kind of get. That angle I kind of get, as well as going through the valley. I get that a bit more. I mean, they tried to come from the east there. It didn't go all too well, because it's also pretty much a lot of open field.
Yeah, it's fighting uphill too.
Yeah, but it's giving, it's like Ukraine has less of an angle at that, or at least less positions are are good to target there. So there, the masses, are easier to get some through, and that's how they most likely captured the industrial area. Other than with the infantry pushes.
Yeah, I think they got the industrial area through this tree line.
We can see your mouse cursor if you're showing.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I wasn't showing Google Earth the whole time. Anyway, this I think they got it through this tree line is how they got the industrial area. My Googled Earth map is not up to date. I like really rarely update this map because it's really just for me and for showing 3D on the stream. But I don't update this much. But Russia did capture this whole industrial area. What's interesting is that I'm not positive they controlled this road here, or especially this road, because they do hit these areas with drones. Although those drone techs might be old. I kind of don't think they are. They especially hit this turn right here, and approximately right here, there's a very deep cut in the ground. Like, I don't know, like it's like 4 meters deep, like straight down, and the road is like above it. And in there, I think there's a bunker that goes like deep underground. They constantly like throw drones into that bunker or into the trench. I don't think they get into the bunker, but they just kind of like fly up like this and then dive straight down into the hole. Yeah, that's the Bilohorivka area. Oh, do you have anything else to say? I'll take that as a no. Okay, so
I was muted. I was just going to say, because he started off with how I located those vehicles. And, I always want to be truthful, and actually IMI, so Mo Klaassen did the geolocation of the individual vehicles. Like, I knew exactly where it was right from the beginning. I posted, this is where all those vehicles end up. And then I was just hoping someone would do the detail work, and he's really good at that. So
there's one vehicle in that video that I don't understand where it is. It makes no sense to me. It's just like in the middle of a field on fire, and I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So anyway, there's two vehicles in that video I couldn't make sense of. But these are all the ones I could make sense of. So there's two more in addition to that. Okay, so I guess we could talk about up here. And I'll go to my other map, which is more up to date. Okay, so yesterday we had all of this shelling, etc. in this forest. I increased the gray area substantially. Because I don't even know where the front line is there anymore. So I just made it all gray area. Do you think you know where the front line is?
No. Particularly because today I think there is a new video which is also in that area.
There. Did I map it? Oh, I guess I didn't map it.
Oh, you didn't map it?
Oh.
No, you should have mapped it. I'm pretty sure
up
you
here?
mapped.
Do you mean up here?
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. Then I'm wrong. But it's to be honest, it's same, right? It's it doesn't matter if down there or up there. We did know that they did have an assault on Yampolivka, but we didn't know where and how far they succeeded. Now we know that Ukraine was shelling there, and the video was published by, what was it, 45th or 44th Artillery Brigade. Which means that video is typically with a decent delay. So most of the artillery brigades, if they release a video, you can assume that a lot of the footage is, what happened in the last month, so to say.
Yeah. So I want to thank Violet. Thank you very much, Violet. That's very generous of you. I don't know the name of that currency. What's it? What is it? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's I don't know. Gek, do you know? Do you know? Erlen, do you know?
I'm currently googling.
It's
is it Romanian, right?
yes. It's the is it the
Leu.
Leo?
Romanian.
Is that how
I'm
you
just gonna
pronounce
say
it?
Leu.
Yeah, I know how to spell it. I just don't know how to say it. That's my problem. But anyways, thank you very much. Uh yeah. Where were we? Okay, so yeah, so there's obviously been a Russian advance. We don't know if they've captured this area. Um, but we know it's a gray area, and we I don't know how deep the gray area goes. It could just be this quarter of the forest is a gray area, or maybe they've even captured that, and there's more. Like I don't know. Up here, um, I don't really know what to make of this assault. I feel like this was like a DRG type thing, like
Yeah.
recon.
I agree.
But
But
they moved
but
on up.
what's
They
telling
popped the tank and ran away.
what's telling to me is that the tank was abandoned there, and it seems like it could have been in a position for Russia to recover it if the front line was actually that far advanced. What do you think?
I agree. What I found interesting is that the way they escaped, like the way they pulled out, was running this way. They ran this way to get out, not that way, or even this way. Is they ran south, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
Now they're saying a Su-34 was shot down.
Oh no, I don't want to go into Telegram. I'm scared.
I don't know, dude. They're saying
I'm so scared. You know, I'm I'm worried. I have done this.
you ended the entire Russian Air Force. Congratulations. They're gonna come for you now.
I'm worried I have this power. I'm not sad I did that thing. Yeah, but like and this is something that of course people don't know, but I weirdly started talking about an A50 yesterday. So Exit was talking about for yesterday Ukraine announced some boat stuff, right, with the USVs. There was a lot of talking and stuff, and when they talked about that, and when it was clear that there was nothing going to happen to the Black Sea Fleet, I said, the purpose wasn't the Black Sea Fleet, but to get the A50 up in the air, in defense of whatever they feared to happen in the Black Sea. So that was my statement, and yeah, now this happened. So I'm gonna keep doing that, I guess.
Yes. I say Gik is the Buddha of I can't say it. Yeah, you're the Buddha of alt account.
Yeah, totally.
That's who you are. But yeah, this attack was interesting. It's on the map. If you want to watch the video, you can come here and look at it. I believe this is a DRG. I don't think this is actually Ukrainian controlled, although this could very well be all a gray area. And seeing as their method of retreat was running south, maybe this is all a gray area too. I don't know.
Yeah, and the video can't be that old either because of the tank. And I'm not sure. Did we have an abandoned tank there? I don't think we did.
Let's look.
That's what I wanted to do like before stream, but I forgot. I was so busy shooting down A50s.
Yeah, that A50 made me really behind. Okay, so I'm gonna open up. Here, we can do it together. We can all do it together. I'm going to open up my Russian losses folder. Whenever I find it. Days. Okay, Russian losses. abandoned. No, we didn't have a tank there.
Yeah. So I don't think it's
Maybe
that old.
Destroyed. Yeah, we don't have any vehicles here. The closest abandoned vehicles are all over there.
Yeah.
I'm curious if any of these were ever recovered.
I suppose they are. Or some of them are, at least.
Maybe if we ever have the ability to buy a high-res satellite image, we'll buy it and look. But we haven't been able to buy one. The only high-res image I have had access to in this area, I was forbidden to buy. Because it's like you have to have like a security clearance to buy it, and I don't got one of those. So yeah, this is I'm gonna zoom out and just crash my computer, but these are all the Russian losses these are just from July.
Yeah, to be fair, sometimes we do add old vehicles to the map. Like if we happen to have them in a video.
Yeah, and these are just destroyed, and then I can do the other ones if those are just abandoned. I have been labeling. Okay, so before I was more liberally handing out the destroyed moniker, and now I've been making more stuff listed as abandoned. So the number of abandoned will go up over time, which is maybe a better way of thinking of things, as that they were abandoned. Okay, so do you remember that the video the other day of a BMP-2 in Avdiivka that was being recovered by Russia, and it was a Ukrainian BMP-2, and the BMP-2 was completely trashed. It had literally, I think, one wheel on the BMP-2. I think the gun was stripped out. All the optics were removed. I think even the engine was removed, and a lot of the armor was missing. But Russia was recovering it. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Like, is it just scrap metal, or are you gonna repair it? Like, I don't know. But things like that, like, is the tank abandoned when you pull out the gun and all the optics and the engine and everything, or is it destroyed? That's a question. I guess that's kind of a philosophical question. Like what would it be, the BMP of Theseus? If you replace every single part, is it the same BMP?
I mean, look at their MTLBs currently assaulting Novomykhailivka. All the MTLB roadsters. You know which ones I mean?
Do you want me to turn on the destroyed and abandoned stuff? What you want?
Yeah, well, okay, this one makes it hard, but there was one, I think, today and one yesterday. So if you go to the current map,
okay,
it's a bit easier to see.
Please. This is today and yesterday.
Today and yesterday. Yeah, then check. Well, there should be a destroyed one south of Novomykhailivka, I think. Can you click on where the drone symbols are in the south there? Because it's two symbols, maybe one of them actually is a destroyed one.
One's damaged. Yeah, this was a this video was really funny to me because they were driving up and they parked.
And
yeah,
there's the bug where you can.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that bug.
I don't know if that's on YouTube as well though.
It is. Thank you. I'll just do this. I'll do this. This is better anyway. So, they drove up, and they in their low BMP they drove up, and they parked, right. And when they parked, these two guys opened up the door and started dismounting, and they have impeccable dismounting technique. And just as they're dismounting, FPV drone showed up and flew inside and exploded. And then it tried driving away, but didn't get very far before it got hit by another FPV drone. But it kept driving though. The thing survived. I think it got all the way back to Slodka. I think it drove into the town and kept going. While on fire.
Yeah. And I think I'm just noticing that we didn't geolocate the ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah, there were a lot we didn't geolocate yesterday.
Yeah, and yesterday I think there was one yesterday, but I'm not gonna look it up. It takes too much time. So anyway, the MTLBs which they are using there are basically having their roof more or less. I'm not sure if it's cut open, or if they never had a roof. If they produced them like that, I really don't have a clue. And instead they have something like, I don't know, 3 millimeters thickness sheets covering the infantry riding on top. So it's basically like one of those vehicles you use to herd pig to the butcher. And if you get one of those BMPs, which is not having anything like that, it still is a vehicle which they're going to transform to do anything like that, at least, I guess. Or they're gonna put another naval gun on top, or I don't know.
I'm gonna try to find my image of those BMPs in my image folder. Yeah, they've been doing this for a while. They've been doing it ever since they started attacking Novomikhailivka. In fact, I bet on this map, I know that they attacked this little foot right here. They attacked this little foot with a bunch of those BMPs. So I'm gonna turn on Russian losses and see if we can find some. They might be listed as abandoned, but these are destroyed. Yeah, this is one of them.
We can't see it.
Yeah, I forgot. Well, I'll find it and then let you know, because I can show you. It's just
you can tell us what is in the frame.
Actually, I know which unit posted it. I can just go to their channel as well.
By the way, in the meantime, I'll read the report that was on the parent Su-34.
Okay.
So apparently, the Su-34 disappeared from radar screens after launching missiles at Ukrainian cities. Our source in the Ukrainian Armed Forces reports. Is the plane crash continuing? UPD stopped being recorded at an altitude of 2,000 meters above Henichesk region.
Henichesk? Yeah, that's
Henichesk.
That's right here.
And then UPD2. I don't know what this UPD means. A report.
It means update.
Update. Of course. Oh my God. Yeah. So at 21:15 Kyiv time, Su-34 takes off from the Akhtubinsk airfield, and 21:50 arrival at the launch site. 22:05 first missile sightings. 22:15 departed from the line. 22:20 missing from the radar. So, yeah, short mission. This one seems pretty much confirmed, by the way.
Yes,
well, let's see. I mean, only if fighter bomber, is is raging, then it's truly confirmed to me.
Fighter bomber is mourning the A50, so he's busy right now.
Yeah, but let him mourn again. So anyway, I posted 2 videos now of the MTLB I had in mind in the Discord, and I think you can show those videos. There shouldn't be any humans or even Russians in there.
Yeah, so you can see, like, if you pause, it's not even like a solid structure. You can't see it.
No, we can't.
It's not even like a solid structure, right? So it's like it's just like pieces of metal, not even like welded together. It's like they made a cage and then welded some metal to the cage. And you can even see the cage on the outside. So it's kind of like would you call this an upgraded cope cage?
I'm not sure. To me, did I show you what vehicle that reminds me of? I don't know how it's called in English.
Look at this thing. Yeah, you can even see the engine is exposed. That's interesting. But yeah, this is definitely not factory. I don't think the factory would expose the engine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So-
they're just chopping off the top and making this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
it feels like, given this is what it reminds me of. Yeah, exactly. And I think, to be honest, knowing that the famous 155th is attacking that angle, I feel like this is punishment. They get those vehicles, and they get sent into suicide missions with that, because you've lost so many vehicles, you better pay for it with your life. I can't explain it otherwise. Why would you do that?
What is the point with it?
well.
They can stand. They can dismount faster.
Yeah. Have you ever stood up in an MTLB?
No.
Have you ever been in an MTLB? Or have you been in a BMP?
No.
I've been in a BMP in a museum. There's a museum near where I live where there's just a BMP like sitting on the side of the highway, and you can just go inside of it. And I've done that, and man, is it like the most uncomfortable vehicle I can imagine. Dismounting, those guys were using the faceplant technique. I would also use the faceplant technique, where you just crawl over to the door and tip over until you fall on your face and then get up and walk away. That's kind of the preferred method. See, this at least lets you walk out,
It's like this Mad Max contraption where they stand in the back and wait to storming the trench, basically. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah, you drive up and jump out.
But imagine Ukraine would have artillery. What are you gonna do if you're in that vehicle and shells start hitting next to you? Shrapnel will eat you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how thick this armor is, but it's probably not going to help you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it won't.
I don't think it will help you against general purpose machine gun either, to be honest.
No. This looks like. I mean, what do you think this would be like? Like 3 millimeters, 5 millimeters.
No, 5 millimeter, yeah. 3 millimeters too thin, it gets wobbly. 5, yeah.
But it is kind of wobbly.
No, but like really, really wobbly. Like, it would droop down and stuff. But yeah, I think 5 millimeter.
Yeah.
But this is some Mad Max stuff. I mean,
not all of them are built to this standard. Some of them are very significantly better.
I thought you were going to say worse now.
No. This is probably the worst one I've seen. Like other ones I've seen are actually welded like steel, whereas this is a metal cage with like steel like bolted to it, I think. And the steel doesn't even touch. I've seen versions where it's actually armor welded in a box, and those were a lot better. And there weren't giant gaps. It was just a solid box. This is like the worst one I've ever seen.
But they use the doors.
Yeah, they have doors on the back. Yeah,
The original doors are still there.
were they?
Or
on the bottom, yeah.
At least some of them are. Like a little bit is remaining.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really shows that Russia switched to a strategy of simply getting masses to a point, and then just overwhelm the defense. I guess that's what this shows. It doesn't matter about protection, about anything. It's just get the masses there and.
Yeah. So people are talking about the airplanes in the chat. Do you think Ukraine got a new weapon?
Yeah, I think they might be either flying something Swedish or that they used the S-200 that was rumored back a while ago. Because 250 kilometers is very far away.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be also some other alternatives, but that's too much conspiracy theory for me to be talking about.
Anyways,
I want to quote that they are flying something Swedish. There's not much Swedish to fly.
I said they might be flying something Swedish.
But was there ever any solid, idea to transfer Gripen?
Yes. Yeah. There's a very much so like they've been even saying like they will be there very fast as soon as Sweden is in NATO, etc. So what I have heard is that they have they have trained pilots on the Gripens that are ready to go.
I mean, I did hear of training, but I always heard that the purpose is for long term. But I mean, I'm open to any idea. You kind of, with how things are going, you kind of want to hope for a couple of things making a change, and certainly, next to the Black Sea fleet being on the bottom of the Black Sea, having the VKS being not in the air. I mean, it's pretty solid.
I mean, it's very much like a little copium to say that they're flying Gripens already, etc. But and speculative, but it lines up with a lot of things. Like the Swedes would like to sell them, and keeping it secret for as long as possible would make a lot of sense. I know one person who would be very angry if the Swedes are, managed to field Gripens before the F-16s, but yeah.
It would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would love it.
But the S-200 theory kind of comes back to me as well, but I don't know. 250 kilometers is far.
Yep.
But how maneuverable is the S-200?
No idea.
Because it always kind of struck me as a to B kind of weapon where you more or less set the course ahead.
How maneuverable do you need to be to shoot down an A-50?
Well,
a giant, slow, lumbering.
But you would need to predict the pattern very well, and you could see that the plane was in distress and flying an evasive maneuver. You would need to predict all that. That's why I'm asking how maneuverable is an S-200.
Wow. There's another event that happened. Yeah, what was it? Was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? I can't remember. All the days run together.
I think 3 days ago, and it was published 2 days ago.
It made us all very happy, right? There was a
that event. Oh,
Pinata.
That one was yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
There was the pinata. Would you like to talk about the pinata?
Does everyone know what a pinata is?
A war pinata is a what was it, the M30A1 rocket for the where it's a is it a Gimler? Whatever. It's a rocket. It shoots war pinatas. It has lots of little tiny pieces of tungsten that fly out in very, very high velocity, and it looks kind of like this.
Yeah.
Or
so
even
what happened?
better. The other image is even better. This one.
This one is better, yeah, because
that's the perfect image.
yeah. So what happened is that for two consecutive days, Russians were targeted at their training facilities. So the first one was it Luhansk or was it Donetsk Oblast? I think it was.
It's Donetsk.
Oh, okay. So the first one was in Donetsk on the day before.
It was near Volnovakha, right? It was over here.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, you didn't put the picture.
I guess I forgot to. Oh! The 20th was the day that I haven't updated the map yet.
Oh, yeah, right. You only updated some parts, I think. Right?
I updated all of the dots, but I didn't put all the pictures.
Okay. So anyway, so that was the first day where the Russians were mauling very much because when they were having their very innocent training for newlyweds, mobics, whatever, something came to visit, and that something is as you said, is a war pinata, which is an M30A1 GMLR-esque rocket, which it disperses, I think, what is it, 30,000 pieces of tungsten?
I don't know the number, but it's a lot.
Yeah, onto a certain, like in a area, and if you are in that area, you can imagine like something like Swiss cheese. And I think the first event, what did it kill? 68 confirmed, 2 of which weren't be able to be identified so far, and a large number of wounded. And the second event, which was one day later in Kherson, and we do have the pictures for that nice event. It was 3 confirmed rockets, and I think 1 unit published stats only for that unit, and that was something like 35 dead, plus a lot more wounded. But we know, or at least it's stated that there were around 3 or 4 units practicing or in training there. One more interesting thing is that allegedly one of the rockets we see in the video arrived sometime later when investigators were actually arriving at the spot to, I don't know, see what happened to how did all those people?
Yeah, they were hiding under a tree, and then the tree exploded.
So the rumor is, or at least that statement said, that the third missile happened when the officials came to investigate what happened or what went wrong. And I have to say, I see nothing wrong. I think that was just very bad coincidence, and they should keep doing that.
So, Erland, I know you have lots of opinions of this.
Yeah.
Well, where do you want to start?
Well, so this desert, right? And I think it's so telling that it's just in the edge of the desert. I've been thinking about it for very long, but it's especially since Ukraine started moving at Krenki. Ideally, Ukraine would manage to get to I would say with their backs towards the desert, because I think this is a place where you cannot maneuver. If Ukraine keeps a certain ISR capability over the desert, you're dead if you enter it, because there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, and you can't move fast either.
No, you get bogged down in vehicles, and you cannot dig. You cannot have trenches. You can't. It's horrible. I don't understand why they're even there. They should consider it as water, where you cannot go there.
Yeah, but lightning never strikes a place twice, so they should come again. Now it's safe to train there.
It's just like it's magically our soldiers keep having very tiny holes in them.
Yeah, I mean,
to be Swiss cheese syndrome.
To be
the
fair,
desert is haunted, right?
To be fair, they used to train on this island, and they kept getting hit by gimlers, right? So they decided
that wasn't better.
They decided to move here because it's safer. Gimlers have like a minimum range, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
So they should come even closer, is what you're saying. And you know the minimum range, because they have to shoot it from the river. Like they can't go back into the rear with their gimlers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I
boy.
mean, they were training on this island for like a really long time. You know, they kept getting hit by gimlers. They got hit by what, like 20 or so, and then they just kind of gave up on training there. And I guess now they train up here. Great.
But about the first incident, what I thought was also very confusing and really made me very confused, it was that there was an important man that was supposed to come to this battalion, I don't know, ceremony. So it was General Moiseva. He was supposed to come, but he didn't. But Musaev, he apparently came and he died, but he wasn't a general. He was just a colonel. And when it was translated with someone using Google Translate, it it was just the same name. So, yeah. Why does this happen? Like the Russians, it happens all the time. It's like General Gerasimov and General Gerasimov, General Musaev and Colonel Musaev. Why?
I don't know. I guess it's kind of like how all the names, all the towns in Ukraine are like the same name, and in Russia, all the officers are the same name. So it simplifies things. You know, you don't need to print as many name tags.
Yeah. But the one in the forest, the field just outside the forest, there was, yeah. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. The training thing, I mean, they're doing something more or less useful, in theory, but the battalion ceremony in the middle of the field.
It's bizarre. I mean, Ukraine has done the same thing, so let's not pretend they haven't. And it's gone pretty badly.
Someone is messaging me saying it's called onomistical drift. It is very common in Italy too. Yeah, that's true. I've never heard about the onomistical drift before. Makes sense.
Anyways, we've had limited news from Crinky. We had the event of the flag people. The flag people, they ran up, they planted a flag, they ran away, and got blown up by a drone. So
Yeah, but this is really interesting because so Shoigu reported to Putin that Grinky was, quotation marks, liberated. And the proof for that was them basically showing their flag in the Grinky ruins. Not, as you said, like the spot is over there to one edge. Anyway, so after that, the commander of the 810th, he got promoted to general. And all of that was basically just to get that promotion. And after that, it was going back and forth. Now, Ukraine was showing basically how they planted the flag and then ran away in fear of getting killed immediately, and actually getting killed later. And that's the next part of the story. And also with, the Russians were planting more flags. The famous water tower, which Ukraine planted flags on top with drones. Russia planted their own flag. And then Ukraine tore that flag down with another drone and planted their own flag again, I think just today. So it's going back and forth, and it's really fun with flags in Crinky. But it really doesn't tell us anything, literally anything about the state of Crinky in terms of who's actually in control of what part. We just know that the Russians are certainly making propaganda.
there's one good that comes from this, is that I think people are going to put less stock into flag videos going forward, which will be fantastic, because people are putting way too much stock before. There were a lot, like this happens all the time. Like they make fake flag videos. And I hope that people lose I don't know what's the word. I hope people stop taking those videos seriously because they're usually fake.
Yeah. And I think, irrespective of any flags and what the latest propaganda is, even if Grinky was recaptured, what is your opinion? Would that justify a promotion to general?
No, it would recapturing Crinky would at best be closing the chapter on one of the most embarrassing defeats that the Russia has suffered. It's like the video today. There's or was it yesterday? It was the video yet. Oh, I can't show that. Okay, but the video yesterday. Click on that video and watch that, and you'll see like just how catastrophic this has been for Russia. There's no justification. There's no way that you could take anything that goes on in Crinky. If Russia retook everything in Crinky and pushed Ukraine out entirely today, it's one of the most significant losses that they've suffered in this war. It's like Ukraine has lost at most a few hundred guys to take out like hundreds of vehicles and so many men.
I mean, the thing is that even though, of course, Russia do shoot artillery and especially these glide bombs over the river, Ukraine is more or less a comfortable situation just a little behind the river bank. And they can do whatever they want with the Russians that are on either side of the flanks that Ukrainians have in Krinky. So I don't know if it's by design in the first place, but they have this like insane good poke the bear scenario here where they just can pick off Russian vehicles at either side of and the forest there is of course helping them a little bit because the Russians don't really drive vehicles through it.
Well, they've tried. They've tried.
but generally they're coming from the sides. So.
See, what Ukraine needs to do is they need to figure out how to make more Krinkies.
Yeah.
They need like 20 more of these.
More of those soldiers are being trained in the UK and Norway right now, so let's see where they're gonna go next. And they're getting cool boats.
Yep.
Oh boy, Andrew.
Yep.
I just opened Telegram and I saw 81st posted another video.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm looking at Telegram right now. I have like 3,800 unread messages.
It's going up, man. There's a lot of messages now.
Yeah, so there's some minor news that I'd like to talk about because this is just kind of like social and I think kind of historically important news, but not stuff that really gets covered. Over the past like week or so, Ukraine has returned a very large number of children from Russia, and the families are really happy about that. Some of them are orphans, some are siblings, etc. Many of them are very young in age. You can see from this picture. I don't know how clearly people can see it, but you can see from the picture that they're very young. Like that's like a baby. And these are like 3 or 4 year olds and maybe like a 5-year-old and stuff. So these are children being returned from Russia. This has been going on in groups. So this one news came out on the 21st, and I think like a few days earlier there were more. Except these children were this first group on the 19th. They were pulled from the Russian side of the Dnipro. So I don't know how. I don't know how you get them across the Dnipro. It's like a speedboat or something. I don't know. But they pulled children from across the Dnipro and brought them back to Kherson and reunited them with their family. And these other children on the 21st, these were children who were abducted from their families and brought to Russia, and they've been returned to Ukraine. So that's some news that I think hasn't been covered so much, but I think is important. In addition to that, there's been a lot of dud bombs recently, especially. I'm going to zoom out because this is kind of zoomed in too much, but especially in the Kharkiv area, they've had sappers been going through, and you can go to the map and read this article, and that's, if you click that, it brings you to the source, and here's a little photograph of a sapper working with a, I don't know, what would you say that is? Anyway, it's a bomb. I don't know. It kind of looks like a 500 kilogram bomb. What do you say? Anyways, but they've had a whole bunch of duds landing in Kharkiv recently.
While talking about duds, do you want to show the video where I think there was a dud? I geolocated the dud. Do you remember where it was?
Sure. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because you see one not exploding. You see smoke coming. It doesn't seem to be exploding, and the next one then explodes again.
Yeah, so you get two bombs over here. They both explode like normal.
Yeah, and then there.
Right here, there's like a puff of smoke, but there's no boom. Like, it doesn't look like that, does it? And then there's another bomb that lands right next to it and explodes.
And you see the difference.
Yeah. This happens like pretty frequently. In Krinky, a lot of those videos, you can see 4 bombs hit the ground and only 3 explode. Like, pretty regularly. It's like, this seems to be the norm. Like, it's not abnormal. It's like here, this video here, you can't see a dud, but there's only 3 explosions. These planes don't carry 3 bombs. They carry 4 or 6. Some of them carry 6. So, in Kupiansk the other day, I believe they said that there were 10 bombs total. 10 is a weird number when your planes carry either 4 or 6. When you tell me there are 10 bombs, I assume 2 of them didn't make it somehow. Maybe that's a bad assumption. But 10 is a weird number. Unless, I guess, one plane dropped 6 and one dropped 4. I guess that's possible, but I doubt it. But of those 10, 2 of them didn't explode. So that's weird. So if you assume that there were 3 planes dropping 4 each, and 2 of them didn't make it, and 2 of them didn't explode, that doesn't seem good. That seems less than ideal. In Shevchenkove, there was more. I'm really confused because I remember reading about the airstrikes in that town, but I guess I didn't map it for some reason. But not all the bombs exploded there either. I think they dropped 4 and 2 of them didn't explode. And then there were more in Katrinivka, which is up here, I think. Yeah, right here. Where I think they dropped 6 and 1 of them didn't explode. But dropping 6 is again weird because they usually drop 4 at a time. So where'd the other 2 go? But yeah, the duds are weird. We know that Russia is occasionally bombing itself, which maybe, and what's funny to me is that if the dates all line up how I kind of think they do, they said they found like 2 bombs in Belgorod, right? And I think those 2 bombs are from the day that they dropped 10 bombs on Kupiansk. So that might be the 2 missing bombs. But I don't know, dude. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it's weird. They drop a ton of duds, like so many duds. Like it seems like 25 to 30% duds.
Yeah, and in terms of precision, you know, the reason why they drop so many is really that they need so many in order to hit anything. Did you see, like in the spreadsheet, one of the last airstrike, or actually the last airstrike video, it has me commenting Mao what even. Did you see that?
I didn't watch that one, no.
Yeah, you can open it. Nothing happens. It just shows that, I can't explain it other than, throwing something into the general direction. Because what you see there, that's the river basin of the Dnieper.
Yeah.
There is nothing there. And nothing is close to that. That, okay, could be a position, right? So that one, okay.
Yeah,
but the first two hits, they are literally just like, they can be what they targeted.
Yeah, and remember that video that had like 40 airstrikes in Avdiivka?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how like almost every single airstrike in that entire video was 3 bombs at a time?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? When their planes dropped 4 bombs, every single airstrike was 3.
I do believe that often if they would zoom out, you would see the 4th, because they tend to, there's always at least one going super astray. Either that or it's a Dadov.
Maybe. This isn't even the video I was talking about. Man, they dropped so much ordnance. See, this, I really wanted to paint a picture of just how shelled this place was, so I went through and I didn't even do all of them, but I did most of the rocket strikes and all of the airstrikes in these videos, and this is what they did to Avdiivka. Obviously, they didn't drop this after they captured it. It was before they captured it, obviously. But yeah, there's the other video. This is the one where there were like 40 airstrikes, and they're all 3 at a time. Sometimes not even 3. Sometimes there were 2, which was weird also.
Yeah, but 2 kind of makes sense, right? Because they used to carry only 2.
Yep. Yep. I just think they're having like 20 to 30% dud rate. It seems like at minimum it's 25%, because like every video is 3 bombs, and then every once in a while there's 2 bombs. It's like it might be like 30%. I don't know.
Yeah, but their air raid campaigns, it really reminds me more of what you expected in World War II. With aerial bombardment, pretty much the same.
Yep. And another thing that is of note is that if you look at the way the Russian drones are looking at things, this drone filming is like flying over here somewhere, and that I just find that upsetting. That they have these drones can just fly at will, and this drone to film this attack, the drone would have to be here. So it may have been the same drone. It may have been at the same time even. There may have just been a drone flying right here filming both of these strikes. That's upsetting, and we've had even more upsetting drone video before, where they had a drone. Where was that? It was right here. Where was it? Here. It was right here in downtown Kharkiv, basically, with a drone just like circling right here, and that's upsetting. I really don't like seeing that. These long range recon and surveillance drones are one of the biggest threats that Ukraine is up against, and if anyone can figure out a solution to that problem, it would really benefit Ukraine. But I don't think anyone's even working on that problem, to be honest. Everyone seems to think that it's just too difficult and not worth it. Anyways.
Andrew, do you want a quick interlude with a live reaction?
Sure.
If so, then the video I shared in Discord, the first 37 seconds you can show without worry, and I will not tell you what happens.
Okay.
But it's it's the great Russian assault onto Belorivka.
So far, I just see a griffin. Oh boy.
Yeah, no worries. You can show it. It's just driving. It's just minding its own business. It's assaulting. Very assaulting.
Is this the I fits, I sits guy?
Yeah. You can see it happen. I really want to know what the drone was thinking.
So it's a BMP-1. That's good to know. I couldn't tell what it was. They all broke out. They're like, dude, come on. He just drove straight into it too. It was like no hesitation. It was like, I see it. I'm going for it.
Can you share the moment again? Because I felt like that looked so funny the way it bobbled into that little gap.
Right, I'm going to slow it down because this is sped up. So I'm going to slow it down. This is more real time, I think. Here we go.
Look at it evading. It's maneuvering.
Let's go straight to the hole.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, the other video. The other
At least
video,
it's covered by smoke, right?
I guess so. The other video, you could. I feel like even more funny. I don't have a timestamp. Okay. Here we go. This is in real time. There he is.
Well parked.
It's trying to get as low profile as possible.
yeah. How down, right?
Yeah.
Smart.
Anyways, what else is there to talk about?
Oh, we forgot to mention the GLSTB in Crinky.
Okay.
And why do we think, or do we think it's GLSTB, and why do we think so? There were two videos. That one is the one which we received first. Yeah, it's
I'm confused.
the rocket symbol in Crinky. It's directly in Crinky.
I'm confused.
What?
I'm so confused. Where is it? I don't see it.
Isn't it this one? No, it's the PGM strike in Crinky. Oh, Crinky is to the right still. It's where you see that. Yeah, exactly there.
Is it this
You
one?
see that?
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
I just made it the wrong color. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you made it the. Oh,
That's
maybe
why I was
did?
so. I don't know. That's why I was so confused. I was looking for blue.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. And maybe I did that.
I don't know. Anyways, I'll fix that. Yeah. So yeah, it was just this strike. What do you want to say about it?
Do you think it's GLCB?
I have no idea. It hit the corner of the building. Why did I screenshot this so weirdly? Here, I'll find it.
Well, it flattened the house in one strike.
Oh, it sure did.
Mm-hmm. So there's a few very interesting things in the video. Which I guess
do you want
we're
me to
gonna
just play
see.
the video? I'll just
Yeah,
play it.
just go play it.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's that. But if you like a few interesting things. One of the things is that immediately prior to the explosion of the house, there's a few frames missing in the video.
Yeah, you can see it weirdly. Dude, it's edited. You can see like this line, like it moves, right? It's like they copied this right here and then put that copy on top of another frame.
So
If you go really slowly, you can see it.
If you look at the
It
top
goes
of
up
the
and
video,
then down.
look at the top of the video. There's a timer. It jumps.
Yeah.
So it does appear like they tried to hide what hit a building.
Yeah.
And that frame, it more or less tells you in the pattern that stuff sprays away from the building and the way the explosion develops. It does give you an idea where the projectile came from. And that idea more or less tells you that it must have come somewhere from the west or even southwest, because the north is to the right here in that picture, right? And that leaves us with very few ideas, basically, of what that could have. And we did, we did get some information about that, and one pieces of information was that it was HIMARS launched, or at least ground launched for sure. That excludes a lot of other possibilities, and I can think of many others, and we know that GLSTB does have delayed fuse and stuff like that. So an explosion could definitely look like that.
And a GLSDB can come from all sorts of angles. It can maneuver. At least that's what they claim it can.
The commercial does
that's...
claim it. And the people you ask who actually know, they tell you that they can't tell you because, they are, it's all a conspiracy, I guess.
Yeah.
CJ said he can't talk about it, so it must be serious.
Okay, so yeah. Do you want to talk about Rabatana?
The GLSTB and Gimlers are totally different in the terminal phase, just by the way.
Yeah. The Gimler can maneuver a little bit. Probably. They say it can't, but, they say a lot of things. Okay, so we had some news about Rabatana. We had confirmation that the Russians were moving up the eastern flank of Rabatana. Then we had some videos of some Russian infantry, moving into this area, and the confirmation plus the video made me map it this way. I don't know if they've actually done anything in this, like between Rabatana and this video, but this is how I'm mapping it now. We do know that Russia was in this trench line, but when the news came that Russia was attacking the eastern side of Rabatana, that same source said that Russia had lost this trench. So it seems that they tried coming from the west. They were beaten back because they had gotten pretty into the town, right? There was taking POWs in the outer houses. We had all these videos of the Russians running away, of vehicles moving up and some of them getting destroyed, etc. And at the same time we had video of Russia in this trench, but they were beaten back, and apparently they've moved to the east, where they've had more success. And I don't think Ukraine was really defending this eastern part. I think they're probably defending more up here. I don't think they really cared. They were trying to move up and capture Novoprokopivka, but when that failed, I feel like all these positions, they seemed like overextended. I think they're willing to give them up. I don't know what you mean by the green triangle near Zaporizhia. What is the green? I don't know. Do you know what he's talking about?
I don't see that yet. Where is it? Was there a comment in chat or?
Yeah. I don't know what he's referring to. So be more specific. I don't understand your question. But yeah. Anyway, do you have anything to add about this eastern attack in Rybatana?
No, to be honest, it's not very transparent to me in terms of what actually happened and where Russians are. The videos I get from there are not very pretty. It's typically drone versus infantry, in like from both sides. It's typically drone versus infantry. So you're watching, I don't know, 5 minutes of people dying, and it's rarely the good guys, or rarely the bad guys which die. So it's not very pretty and not hard to geolocate the area. Not easy and hard to geolocate the area. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. I'm just not sure what's going to go on here. I kind of expect Ukraine seems really focused on keeping the town of Rabatana, and there is this there's like this hill to the east that I'm sure is very important to them, and I'm sure that this hill is going to be a very important defensive position for them. There's a trench that kind of basically follows right here, I believe. It follows this tree line. I think it's to the east of the tree line, like right here. And there's a hill that goes down, and this is all kind of the lower ground, I believe. So I imagine they're going to try to control Rabatana for as much as they can. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but that appears to be their intent here. And this low ground, maybe they feel that if Russia tries to move through this low ground, they can use their high ground advantage on this hill to hit them. The same way that Russia kept destroying the Ukrainian progress as they were moving up. If you remember that video of, I think it was right here, the video, there's this attack where Ukraine attacked with like 9 BMPs and all 9 were destroyed. Ukraine they could probably do pretty much the same thing to Russia if they try moving up these fields where they can use all of these ATGM positions on this hill to shoot across and take out those vehicles the same way Russia did to them. So that might be part of their defensive strategy here, is kind of letting Russia move through here in order to destroy them on the flank, maybe, and meanwhile really kind of more aggressively defending this northern trench line where it's easier for them to resupply, and they can look kind of down on or up. Yeah, they'd be looking up on the Russians coming downhill from this angle, and looking down on them from Rabatana. So I think that's kind of their defensive strategy here, but I guess we'll see. So we have a question. Can Russia continue attack at this level of losses? In the short term, absolutely. Oh, I guess we can talk about American politics for a moment, because I think that's related to the Russian strategy. Over the past 2 days, I think, we have gotten word that the Democrats in the House of Representatives have begun the process of doing a what's that word? I forgot the word. It just slipped my mind. What's it called? A discharge petition. The Democrats have started a discharge petition. A discharge petition would bypass the Speaker of the House to initiate the process. It's a long and laborious process of voting on the bill. Prior to the vote, there has to be a period of time of open discussion on the bill, and that period of open discussion will be an absolute political nightmare for everybody involved. Because basically what will happen is that anybody in the House can propose amendments, and all of the amendments to the bill will be the most insane thing you've ever heard in your life. They'll be like, I want to ban blue hats. I want to ban people who wear white pants after Labor Day. You know, all the crazies. You know, maybe even crazier. Insert your favorite type of crazy, and that's the sort of thing that will be proposed. And for that reason, the Speaker of the House will have absolutely no power to do anything during this process. He will be stripped of every lever he has to control the legislative process will be removed from him, and he does not look forward to that and does not want that to happen. So it seems to reason that if there are enough votes for a discharge petition, and the Democrats have said that they would not begin the process of a discharge petition unless they had enough votes. So if there are enough votes for a discharge petition, the Speaker will very likely, once it's proven to him there are enough votes and it's not just talk, if once the people like get together and coalesce and say like, yeah, I'm gonna vote, he will probably put the bill to the floor under the normal legislative process to avoid a discharge petition, because he doesn't want the several weeks of total insanity that will result from a discharge petition. Because it would be bad for the Republican Party, it would be bad for literally everybody. It would be a total train wreck.
But if his goal is to delay as long as possible, wouldn't he do exactly that?
Do what? What do you mean?
I mean,
go through that train wreck.
Yeah. I mean, if you're handled,
bad. It would be really bad.
If you're handled by one of the Russians, right? You would try to delay it no matter what. That's what you get your money for, I guess.
But you also want to win the election, and I don't think you can win the election by going off the okay, so like the train derailed. Like in September, the train derailed, and it's been going off on its own little direction ever since. This would be like the derailed train bouncing onto a completely different train track and going into crazy town. That we're like, it would be total lunacy where nobody would have power. There would be no leadership to control the narrative. The level of crazy will be unprecedented. Nobody wants that to happen, especially not in an election year. Because the election year politics, it makes you do crazier things, while at the same time, because you want to appeal to your base, right? So you do crazier and crazier things to seem like a cool kid. But at the same time, the crazier you get, the more you alienate the non-crazy people of the country. So in an election year, it would be like both the behavior would be amplified due to the election year, and the consequences will be amplified due to the election year. And nobody wants either of those two things to happen.
It sounds so reasonable, but looking at it through the eyes of a European, I feel like what you were describing with, is something is heading into crazy town. I feel like we're there.
Oh,
At least that's what it looks like to me.
Oh, you don't know crazy. The real crazy will come out.
What is the whole thing about like the second or the fourth Monday of the month?
Oh yeah, there's this rule. A discharge petition is not a normal thing, and it has to be put on the discharge petition calendar, and you can only do that on 2 days every month, and then you have to work through the calendar through the year. And I think there's another rule for what to do at the end of the year when you haven't done the entire calendar. Then there's another process, but yeah, you have to put it on the calendar, and I think you can only do that on the second and fourth Monday, or the first and third, or whatever it is.
So when is the first available after the holiday?
I think the 26th is the first available day that they can put it on the calendar.
Yeah, but they're on holiday.
Yeah. I think the next day is the 11th, like March 11th. And then the 25th.
Yeah, it's crazy town geek. I agree.
Yeah, right.
It's like when, yeah, it's.
I just think, you know, Andrew has accustomed to crazy already.
The thing is that if someone wants to propose something in parliament here in Europe, you just feel it, and the speaker or the president of the house or whatever in the respective countries, they have to bring it up to the agenda.
Not here.
That's what we're used to, and then sometimes, you know, they just streak it down because there is such an obvious majority to not even debate it. That can happen, but they have to raise it. And normally, even if, you know, a proposition is never going to be passing, they allow debates. At least that's what I'm used to. Even in, you know, crazy country like Italy, they allow debates on proposed bills.
Oh,
I mean, bills fail all the time that are proposed by the opposition. But
yeah. Anyways, more to my point is that once the discharge petition is filed, it's basically going to be 30 days until they pass the vote from then. Probably. It's going to be probably 30 days. So, and they're unlikely to start the discharge petition unless they know they have the votes.
But I heard something about the fact that the speaker completely loses control over the whole process if the discharge petition starts. So then he won't be able to, you know, schedule anything. It just anyone can just, you know, amend stuff.
Yeah, so that's why he would never want that to happen. You'd think, but yeah. So once the process starts, it'll be 30 days until the bill passes, likely, probably. But so think of that in from Russia's perspective. If Russia thinks that in roughly 30 days, give or take a week or whatever, Ukraine is going to get a monstrous package from the United States, because the United States has been preparing packages for Ukraine this entire time. Like we have ammo set aside, we have all the anti-aircraft missiles set aside, we have everything like ready to go. Like once the bill is passed, Ukraine is going to get a tsunami of aid. It's just going to be just enormous quantities of aid in an incredibly short period of time. So if Russia knows that's coming, if they know a giant tsunami of ammo is about to show up, wouldn't they want to capture as much ground as possible, as quickly as possible? They wouldn't care how many casualties they take. They wouldn't care how many vehicles they lose. They just want to capture ground as fast as possible while they still can.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty obvious, and like in doing so, they're resorting to World War I methods. I feel wherever they go, they dig trenches immediately and dig in. So it's clear that they're trying to bite as much as possible and then just fortify that area.
Yeah.
And it's also pretty evident that they are trying to do as quickly as possible. Yeah.
So it appears likely that Russia is going to do a large attack near Novomykhailivka in the coming days. A lot of the Ukrainian, I'll say smarter people, the better informed of the Ukrainian writers and commentators that I see, they've been commenting on this for quite a while, kind of beating a drum of this area is very important, and there's a lot to worry about. So, they've been apparently building up a armored and mechanized force in the general area of Volodar and Novomykolaivka. And they've in recent days they've been pushing further and further west from Salantka, trying to dislodge Ukraine from these positions directly to the west of the town. It seems that their targets, and also they've been attacking Pobeda, where they've captured parts of the town, not all of it. I've heard that the town is mostly a gray area and not firmly in control of, not firmly in Russian control, but also not in Ukrainian control, but more so in Russian control than Ukrainian control. So we could end up seeing a kind of a two-pronged attack, one from Pobeda pushing west, and the other from like Salatka pushing west, with the targets being Vodiana, Krakhova, and Volodar. And that sort of attack is very worrying, for a lot of reasons. If they do break through this line of defense, it could lead to pretty disastrous consequences. If they can like get behind, like if they can reach like here, basically, if they can reach roughly here, it's very bad. Because I don't know how many defenses are behind it, and you could potentially get behind Veliki Novosilka, which would be an absolute disaster. So this whole attack, it's worrying, and I've been saying since like October that I believe that this was Russia's primary axis of what they cared about the most. Like obviously they've been attacking Avdiivka, and they captured it, and that is their little victory that they're happy with. But I don't think Avdiivka was their actual target. I think this was their actual target, and they've been chipping away at all of the defenses here. They captured Menagerie, they captured all of these defensive positions to the west of Menagerie, and now they have apparently at least severely weakened Pobeda, and now they're threatening to break through Pobeda and just keep moving west. So this is a something to look forward to over the next few days. Let's see if it happens. Like maybe all the Ukrainian sources are big stupid idiots. They won't happen at all.
I mean, the question is, will an attack happen, which is very likely, or is Ukraine too weak to repel such attacks? And looking at the area, I think 72nd Brigade should be the largest brigade in Ukraine. I think very capable. So we can put a lot of trust on them repelling as much as possible and delaying any sort of any sort of advance for as long as possible. I think in the north it's 79th. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad. I can't judge their capabilities all too good, but at least from whatever videos I get, I kind of enjoy their content. And of course they've been fighting there for a long time. So yeah, it's always questions. Also, how much is Ukraine able to stabilize Avdiivka to the extent that they can potentially, relocate some of the reserves there? Because right now Avdiivka might be overstacked to some extent. If they can stabilize this, they could potentially, move move some
So
of their reserves.
I think it'll be interesting to look at the 3D view of Avdiivka, because this ground, where am I? This ground is somewhat interesting, and you can see maybe a sort of defensive line forming, and why it's forming here. So first, there's this I don't know, a stream or river, whatever. There's this low ground here that it has the Ukraine is basically on the high ground. So they have this like hill here, which is the town of Orlivka.
I don't think we can see it.
Oh, sorry, I screwed up again. Okay, so I'll try again. So there's this stream or river or whatever this is here. This is the low ground, obviously. You have the high ground above. Ukraine is on the high ground, and the high ground is more or less this town of Orlivka, which is a vitally important town, and it has been built up for a while. So this is a fortified town because it's been basically the main hub of Avdiivka this entire time. It's been under constant shelling, constant airstrikes. It's pretty fully ruined at this point, but it's fortified. There are bunkers, etc., etc. So that is the high ground here that Russia is trying to get through. Obviously, they do have this direct path without having to climb up the hills. It's basically flat ground, straight west from Avdiivka, and they've been trying to move along this, but they've been mostly repelled. There's also the northern flank of Stepova, which I think everybody knows about already, and the other town of Berdichi, which is Ukraine's current kind of stronghold is Berdichi at the moment in the north. And then there's these kind of southern towns of, ironically, the southern town is Sevierna, which means north, northern, or whatever. But anyways, but yeah, you can see that these kind of towns that are on really flat ground, Ukraine appears to be withdrawing from. So they're withdrawing from Sevierna. They've withdrew to Tonenka. And I kind of imagine, I don't know if they're going to try to hold Tonenka. I kind of think they're going to pull back to this stream here, and this wide open field they'll probably defend pretty strongly. So I kind of think that we'll eventually see a front line that kind of goes like this, if all goes well. That sort of front line. And maybe Tonenko will be part of that. But Russia has Ukraine has withdrawn from Sevierna, and Russia may have captured the town already. So
do you want to show what new weapon arrived in Avdiivka?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, to be honest.
Oh, the Abrams.
Oh yes. There's a new toy.
So there were like a lot of questions in the last month with regards to where will the Abrams end up with. They were initially purposed to be with the 47th, but then apparently, the delivery and training and etc. for the Abrams was delayed, which then caused 47th to to join forces with a tank battalion from the 1st Tank Brigade, I think it was, and attack basically in their counteroffensive with the Leopards. But initially, the Abrams was planned for that, and now we have confirmation that the Abrams did get delivered to 47th, or at least that battalion did join 47th, and we see Abrams in Avdiivka.
Yep, with camo.
And no top armor.
Yeah. No,
That's
no
what was infuriating.
I guess you don't need armor back there. That's kind of pointless. Those are blowout panels. You probably want armor right here. I would imagine.
If you're showing it, we're not seeing it.
Oh, yeah. I need to
You keep doing that.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so, yeah, I actually showed this whole video while you were talking, and I forgot I didn't show it to anybody. Yeah, just you'd probably want armor on top of the turret. You would want armor on the front of the hull too, but you unfortunately can't. It's impossible. But I don't want to show the actual shelling. But yeah, you'd probably want armor right here, I imagine, and maybe like there. In the back, it's kind of pointless because those are blowout panels. This frontal part, you ideally would love to put ERA here, but you can't because you'd blind the driver. But yeah, here's an Abrams. Look at him go. And you can see him right here, shelling from Berdichi towards Stepova.
Yeah. I think what's to note here and what's interesting is that 47th claims that the Abrams is in battle for a month. And as a response to that video, the Russians were furious and saying that if there was any Abrams in the fight in Avdiivka, they would have known and would have destroyed it already. And they basically say that this entire thing is a PR stunt and that the Abrams isn't really in Avdiivka. So, of course, it could be a PR stunt and the Abrams is actually part of some other plan. And they just put one there to shell and make a video and make Russians think that it's attached to 47th. It could be. I don't think it's very likely because, having them be with 47th is what it was initially planned, and it's what makes most sense, I guess, to that extent. Also, given that, 47th, I don't know how many Leopards they still had left in the end, which is sad, but also part of the truth.
Yeah. Well, I forgot what I was going to say, to be honest. Oh yeah, I remember now. I don't think this is a good place to put an Abrams to fight, to be honest.
No, not at all. It depends on how old that video is. If that video is from, I don't know how many months ago, then okay. But right now, it's not too good. Oh, did you see the Leopard video? Which is the only worst place to put a Western tank.
I'm not sure which Leopard you're talking. Is it from today? Because I did not watch all the videos today.
Oh, it was yesterday, but I didn't add it on the spreadsheet because at least I didn't add it on the map because it was old. Okay. It was archival footage. But what happened was they took their, I think it was Streitwagen 122. They took that one and ran into a tree line which had Russian infantry in that tree line. So it was shelling Russian infantry at a distance of 15 meters or something like that. And, I don't get it. The purpose and the advantage of the Western tanks clearly is the precision at distance, at range. If you put your Western tanks into close combat, you're going to lose them to something stupid. You're going to get stuck somewhere in the tree line, and you're going to avoid all of the advantages and put it at risk of losing them against something entirely stupid. And they're using them, at least in some instances, they seem to be using them equally to how they used the far lighter Soviet tank.
Yeah.
A T-64 is half the weight or something like that. Probably not a half, but probably 60% of the weight or something like that.
I think the best places to use the Western tanks are Kupiansk, where you can shoot across the river from very far away and take advantage of your long range, and along the Dnipro, where you can do the same thing, where you can shoot from these small towns and shoot across at like Krinky and offer support that way. I think those are kind of the two best places for Western tanks because it gives you every advantage. You get the advantage of range. You get the advantage of being able to hull down. You get the advantage of building hideouts. Like you can build like a reinforced, maybe a concrete, like a hole in the ground where you can shoot and then retreat into it, so you can't get hit by like a lancet or something. And I think those are the sorts of places where the Western tanks would be really, really useful and actually give Ukraine a legitimate leg up. Because if you had tanks, if you had like tanks in a few really good spots on these hills, dug in and fortified, and so you're not gonna get hit by like a random lancet or something. Um, if they're dug in and fortified, what is Russia gonna do? They can't fight it. Like like they can't push a tank up into these towns of like Kozachi Lahiri or whatever and try to engage across the hill where you're going to be at a complete disadvantage. You have to move into position under surveillance and then get hit, and you're going to get shot. Yeah, your weapons aren't accurate enough. Your fire control systems aren't good enough. So Russia would be at a really big disadvantage at trying to engage these tanks if you were to do it that way. And I think the way that Ukraine's been using these tanks is just not good.
Yeah, and if you want, you can show the one in Pobieda, because that also just reminded me why maybe there is something to fear in that area, because 33rd is is fighting in Pobieda. So this tank, it was driven into the village when the Russians were already really close, and they it didn't even get hit. They just had to abandon it for some other reasons, apparently. And I want to basically a quote from someone very knowledgeable about this entire thing is that they had to abandon it for the stupidest reasons ever without specifying. And he was not having a lot of good words about 33rd Brigade, which was also part of the counteroffensive, and their axis on the counteroffensive basically completely fell apart. And now they are losing tanks to either craters, because they also lost the other leopard just a bit south there. No, not that one. In the crater. Yeah, I think it's exactly that drone video. That's the other leopard they lost.
It fell in the hole.
Yeah, so they lost 2 leopards
3.
there. Yeah, apparently 3.
There's another one. Where was it? I located the other one, so that's why you don't know. The other one was over here.
Oh yeah,
right here. This one is. Is this the first like legitimately 100% destroyed leopard?
No, it's not. It's not. We had some of the 2A6s which were completely burned out.
Yeah. Well, this one is toasted. It's dunzo.
Yeah, I wonder how much it took for it to be like. But anyway, yeah, they seem to be losing them for stupid reasons. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It doesn't appear like they're making use of the advantage of those tanks. And of course, I get it. If you attack somewhere, or if you get close to the enemy, you wanna exploit the survivability and stuff like that. But if you don't have enough of them, the biggest value is still the range and the precision at range.
Yeah. Preserving your assets is more important than suicide charging into a town by yourself. Yeah. The 33rd, they were attacking I think straight south from Malotokmachka. Their job was to move south, and I believe they started roughly here, and they got to like here and had to be rotated out because they took too many casualties. That's like pretty much what they did. And then they the 15th took over, I think. And the 15th like pushed all the way up the rest of the way. Well, actually, like the 47th had to do a lot of this for them, and then the 15th kind of came up and cleaned up.
Yeah, and the 15th wasn't
Yeah.
trained for as an assault brigade.
No, they were a National Guard brigade. They're supposed to be like a defense only reserve brigade, not an offensive one.
Yeah.
Like they have very minimal equipment to work with.
Yeah, but to be fair, that was the point where the counteroffensive, where it was clear that it was going to be too costly to continue.
Yeah, it would have been smart to just stop the counteroffensive at that point, but nope. So yeah, are there any other issues that have missed? There was a big Shahed attack on Dnipro last night, and another one on Odessa. Odessa I believe was also hit by KH-22 missiles, which did a lot of damage. I'm not sure what the damage entirely was. More sappers taking out missiles, Shaheds, and other warheads around in Kyiv. And I don't know. Is there any other news that we missed? I can't remember.
Oh, I think there were rumors that Ukraine was able to push Russians back in Zinkivka area.
Has that been confirmed? I can't remember.
No. That's why I said rumors.
Yeah, I know.
But
the Russians are claiming that they've captured the entire town. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and one more thing: the assault in Bakhmut.
Yeah, we forgot about
exactly.
Ivanivka. Yes. Ivanivka. I know that they've entered the town. They captured this corner, minimum. I've also heard that they've entered this street here, but I don't think they control that street. I know that they've captured this corner. The Ukrainians do not consider these houses to really be part of the town. So I think this might be an explanation for why some people, like some Ukrainians, have denied that Russia has entered the town, and it's because I don't think Ukraine officially recognizes these buildings as being part of the town.
I think further south on the tree line there are also some destroyed vehicles today, and from what I understand is that the Russians more or less captured the tree line.
Could be.
Yeah.
And yesterday we had some drone attacks, etc. in this forest. I think Ukraine is withdrawing from that forest, personally. Yeah. I think they're pretty much... I think this is all might be just leveled out. Because I'm not convinced Russia controls this area anymore. And I kind of think Ukraine controls here. And Ukraine... Like I kind of think like this bend is a gray area. It just may be like this might just all be leveling off like this sort of way. Like it just like the front line just may be a straight line right here. Like I'll do the measure tool. Like this the front line might turn into something like that. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, what we observe is that the Russians still have plenty of vehicles to lose there.
They sure do.
It's crazy.
And boy, will they. Okay. So I think that's all the things, honestly. I think we talked about every major issue. Rabatana, Avdiivka, Novomykolaivka, Ivanivska, Bilahurivka. We talked a bit about Tarnini and Polivka. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there any last thing you'd like to mention?
No, the question is, should we ask Erland for a prediction?
do you think you have it in you?
I don't I don't know if I have the magical powers. I didn't visit the shaman in a while.
Yeah, that's exactly how I behaved last week, and then last minute I still got a prediction out, and I had a good run. Now you go.
Oh, okay, then another Krinky somewhere along the river.
Ooh, that's bold.
Okay.
Oh, that's very bold. If that okay, if that turns out to be true,
within the next month.
okay. It would have been nice to have something tangible until next stream.
Yeah.
But I guess okay.
Yeah, people are saying that there are photos of the downed Su-34. I have not seen. I've not looked at Telegram.
It might be that they are talking about the like if it's a video of a burning plane in someone's backyard, like that video was out when everyone was still talking about the A50. So I think that burning video might be related to the A50, but I'm currently checking if there's anything in Telegram.
Yeah,
I don't see anything.
It's hard for me to check Telegram because I have over 4,200 unread messages right now.
Yeah, and the issue is you can't just you can't just scroll through, because then you might miss some of the things which you need to look at.
Yeah. I'm looking at channels that only have like one or two unread, and they're not talking about it.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know how I'm going to catch up today, to be honest. It's just so many.
But what I can say is that Romanov just posted that investigative actions are underway with the S-400 air defense crew.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
They're gonna arrest some random people. Let's go. Oh.
Yeah, I mean we've seen the rumors about the Su-34, but no, I have not seen a video. I've been sitting here.
Yeah, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not going to be anything tangible. Because whenever something like this happens, people tend to hype it a lot and just make up more stories and more stories. And the official account of the Air Force, they claim the A50. They claim it's. I think they kind of claimed, or at least there's a news report about it having been with the S-200. But there's nothing about a Su-34 from anything official. At least that I saw.
Yeah. Well, I'll check one last thing. Well, I'll check two last things. There are a few. Yeah, no. That one is a no. I'll check the other one though. Where are you? Okay, there you are. Yeah. Yeah, neither of the two last things I checked mention anything about Su-34. They're just talking about the A50.
And that's a huge win. So
yeah,
sometimes you need to be careful with those stories which follow that, because sometimes they might also be planted to have you less, or to have a disappointing element to a big win. You're expecting or you're hoping for 3 more planes or something like that, and then it turns out, oh no, that wasn't true. This is kind of playing mind games with you. So don't fall for it too easily. Grab onto what you can verify, and that's the A50, and that's a huge win. Celebrate that, and if something happens on top of that, you're gonna have a laugh.
There's no official about an IL-22.
Yeah, the IL-22 is also not confirmed. There's some small rumor, but like none of the serious channels talked about it.
No.
It would make sense that an IL-22 would be there, but
I'm looking at official channels right now. Like I'm looking at the Air Force. The Air Force is only talking about the A50. I'm looking at like Stratcom. They're only talking about the A50. I looked at the General Staff. They're only talking about the A50. I looked at all of the soldier accounts. They never. Okay, there's one other channel that I can look at. He's an intelligence officer, and we'll see what he has to say. Let's see if he mentions any other plane. Because he loves when planes get shot down. He mentioned the A50 and the A50 again. He's very happy about it. He said, well, he did make a comment. No. That's about the A50. Yeah, he only talked about the A50. So everyone I see is only talking about the A50. He made a comment that not official with a picture of a plane on fire, but I think that's just him saying that Ukraine shot down the A50.
Yeah, it could have been, it could always have been that they were targeting 2 planes, but it could have been that only one was a success.
But I think there's a lot of psyops being done right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The Gurt statement is just making me believe there's just so much psyops going,
There's tons of psyops. But anyways, I think that's it for today. My last parting message is be careful what you read and don't believe everything you see. And we'll be back on Monday or Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday. Yeah. So goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.